They're telling a story here, and it's like really important, and there are so many contexts underneath all of this. They didn't even have blood. That was chocolate, by the way.
Yeah. What was that? It was like the more intensity, like put more chocolate at least. So it's darker, that amount.
I know. Chocolate.
Alfred Hitchcock, you
Maybe
probably
he wanted to
ate
eat
all the
it.
chocolate. Like, where's the chocolate? Okay, it's okay. Let's just shoot like this.
Hey pals, welcome to another episode of the Plot Pals podcast.
We've been searching and searching for films that are scary and memorable and exciting. And we have found the one that we're in love with this year.
The one and only, the one that inspired many Halloween movies to come, many horror movies. And so the classic, the wonderful, from the best director ever.
You switched your mind so quickly. We talked about Kubrick, and Anna was like, "Oh, he's so good. He's my favorite." We talked about Rajamouli.
Totally forgot about him.
Legendary.
All of them.
And now this director came in and immediately becomes the favorite, and he will become your favorite too. Alfred Hitchcock. You've heard his name. You've seen his face. He's this big guy, you know, like nearly bald head, always in a suit. He is the master of suspense, the most coolest director ever that you got to check out his films of.
And, you know, he's the kind of director that even when I was a kid and didn't know anything about films, I knew about this guy. That's the kind of power he has. That's how wonderful he is. And so here we searched and searched, as Maral said, and found one of his most horrific films that completely changed the history of cinema after that, the history of horror movies.
And it's one of those that you got to check out for yourself again and again. I had seen it multiple times before, but watching it with Anna, I'd forgotten how nuanced it was and how fun it is.
Right.
So that's why we think that you should watch it once again this Halloween. We're talking about Psycho, the 1960 masterpiece that you've seen the poster of in every college student's room, probably.
Exactly. And this movie, when you watch it, you realize that literally every other movie that has a psychopath character has been kind of inspired by this. Like, we compared Joker to this. We compared, when we were talking about or watching it, lots of these people that have these psychological problems and are psychos, they all have this sort of archetype, this characteristic.
Yes, right. And this is a black and white film, which might deteriorate some people, including this woman here who has a very affinity towards them. But it is so good that you forget that it's black and white. It doesn't even register anymore. Before you know it, you're laughing and you're cringing and you're shuddering at the events that are happening. That
you know what I love a lot is that you never fail to bring this up, but okay, that's great. That's great.
Until the day I'm in my grave, I'm going to mention that you don't like black and white. You're going to have like all the black and white movie posters in your room. It doesn't matter to me. I'm like, Anna, who doesn't like black and white.
Yeah, but the thing is, this movie, I'm really glad it didn't have that for one reason and one reason only. You don't see blood in its true color. Yeah, and also you don't see that much violence, by the way.
Yes, this is a family movie. Minus like maybe 4 scenes. You can watch it with anyone. And like the very first, 5 minutes. Skip that. If you're watching it with your family. Right. But it is totally made to be viewed in the public. Like, you don't have to be embarrassed to watch it on the subway, Some movies, some horror movies, it's like, murder, kill. And you're just like, oh, I feel like a bad person watching this one.
Yeah.
This has got class.
I know.
Much parts of it is also quiet, It's like, but it's not just things coming. You just look at a woman's face and you're feeling the tension within you. How? From a woman's face?
Oh, yes. And from the music and also from their expressions. The actors are fantastic in this movie. You're not going to believe it. You've never seen something like that. The micro expressions on their faces. You could see the psycho come on them, like come in them. You could see how they get possessed. And it's not only one character that is a psycho, I feel like. It's so many others that are like kind of parasite-like characters that want to take away from others. Take.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of like story that you're going into.
It's so well written. It's so well acted that people were actually angry that this main character, Anthony Perkins, didn't get not Oscar nomination. They
Oh
were
my
like rioting in
God.
1960. He did the best role. What's wrong with the Oscars? They never nominate anything that's horror.
Are
You
you
know?
kidding?
They
He
were upset.
wasn't even nominated?
He wasn't, and that's such a rob because his performance is one of the best ever, right? It's so great.
He is like the OG Joker kind of character, like the OG psycho character. Why wouldn't they do that? Of course, at the time
Yeah.
they didn't know that, but like
He walked
was
so
the
Joaquin
first-
Phoenix could run.
exactly. Not only that, it's actually more like the other guy. What was his name? I totally forgot.
Heath Ledger?
Yeah.
Yeah, the past of Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Every psycho, like we say, you watch this guy. You know what the movie is good at is you watch a man who you love, and then slowly he turns into something different than you weren't expecting. The plot is so strong. We're gonna spoil everything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe
Sorry.
skip over the section where we talk about the plot and then listen to the rest.
Like, it's kind of magic, I guess. I don't know. They used some sort of sorcery, something like that.
Yeah, so many departments came together to make this a good movie, and it's shocking because the time that it was made, it was just a tiny little film. It wasn't, oh, Alfred Hitchcock is making his Oppenheimer, billions of dollars, It was like, I'm gonna make a horror movie, a mini little like slasher kind of that people don't know what the plot is. They go in, they like it, they tell their friends. Those people watch it. Like a small little project.
Yeah.
And he even shot it in black and white because he wanted to save money. Color film would have been more expensive. He just wanted to make the movie, so he's like, all right, let's shoot it in black and white. Let's shoot it less film amount to pay so that the movie could come out. And then here it is, one of the most famous movies ever made. That's amazing.
How is that possible? I heard $800,000. That's it.
Yeah, which sounds like a lot, but
No,
in
no,
the
no,
film
no.
world, yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't even think at the time. I don't know how the budget was like at the time, but even that is really low for such a film.
If I were to guess, 800,000 at that time would be like a $2-3 million budget now, which is considered a low budget, like lowest tier.
Exactly.
That means like you still are paying everyone good wages, but that's it. Like the most of the money is going to the wages.
Yeah. And maybe a lot of people, I think, maybe a lot of people that worked for him, because it was a small project and it wasn't that serious for him as well, maybe a lot of people worked for free, or even like
they work for less money.
Yeah, for less probably. So that's how it came together like that. It's fantastic. Like, look at
so
that.
cool.
This guy. And I don't know how many films he was in at that point. Like, what was his experience?
Yeah, he had made 8 films and he had made so many TV shows. So this man is always like very experienced.
Didn't
the
know
whole
about
time.
TV shows.
Yeah, he has this whole TV show called Alfred Hitchcock Presents, where he takes a lot of different new directors and writers to come in, and they tell mini horror stories, and then he's the one who presents it at the beginning. He like does a little narration. This is the kind of story this is gonna be, and then cut to the film that they made. These kind of things. Like he almost produces it.
That TV show, I think, is the reason that he's so famous, and I kind of knew about him at the time because I remember this TV show playing in Persian, actually, on like the 4th channel, and I would sometimes watch it, or like would see it at least. So this TV show idea is really good, actually, for directors. Such a good tip. You gotta have something like that.
Yeah, he's well known for his horror movies, so that gives him one genre.
Yeah.
That he could be like, okay, I'll just make a TV show all about horror movies. But it's harder maybe for other directors.
I see.
But he is known, he's known as the master of horror and suspense. That's so cool. Usually horror movie directors are looked down upon. People think that's the easiest way to make a movie. Just make someone look at a door and then have it be dark on the other side, and that's a scary movie. Just keep scaring people. That's nothing.
Yeah.
But then you kind of watch this movie and you see it's not really about dark corridors at all. It's about psychology. It's about human nature, and these kind of like backstories and what drives people to do things, and about the shot choices, and it's so much more. And censorship is so right, because you think Murder, they were upset about that. They didn't even want to show a toilet in any film. This was the first time a toilet flush was seen in a movie. Ever. In 1960, they showed the toilet being flushed.
What do you think people do? Oh my god, I can't.
Everyone has been shitting since the beginning of time. and you didn't show that in movies until 1960.
Yeah, I think people before that didn't do something like that. That's so below them. Why would they? They're so high class in their dresses and in their hats like that. They don't do.
They just pull it right back up.
They're not like us. Yeah.
Somehow, the bacteria just digests it in there. I don't know. It never comes out. Yeah, but they didn't hear that toilet flush until this movie. And Alfred, he's kind of a funny guy. You know, he likes doing things first and like he likes pranking people a lot. So he would go on like an executive meeting with his producers or something, and he would make a fart machine and he would put it under their chairs, and there would be like big people, you know, very important people on the table too,
investors and everyone.
And then those producers would sit and then something really loud and embarrassing.
Dang! Oh my god!
And then he would be in the corner like
he's like Mozart or something. Wow! What is up with these people?
Yeah, he is a big practical joker. He did so many things. We should research the things that he did.
I love that. I didn't know he was this chill. Okay, I love him even more now for that.
Yeah, and one more thing about him, he ate a lot. Like, he was famous for his eating. If you look at him, you know, of course he's big, but when people went out with him, like, they were shocked. Like, he would take a chicken and he would just eat it all immediately and order a second chicken, and then the pasta, and then the rice, and then the beef, and then like 5 desserts. And in the same lunch, you know, he would eat all of these, and the people who were sitting beside him were just in awe. Like, how is all this going down so easily?
Just hearing it, I can't process it. I can't imagine witnessing that. And on top of this, he is like overweight and fat, but not like that. Not on that level. Like,
I know,
if somebody eats that much, they gotta be huge.
He is like exactly a circle. If you look at him, he's like a perfect circle. You know, some like if you're fat, sometimes you're like wobbly and like one area is bigger, but for him, he's like exactly symmetrically circular. It's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how that happened.
It's so.
There was something that we were talking about that led me to this. Hitchcock lying. He likes tricking people.
Chocolate.
So he, being this kind of tricky guy that he is, he wanted to be the first to use that toilet flush in sound in his movies. So he was like, okay, the way that we can make sure it doesn't get cut later by censorship is we make it a really important plot point. So the plot point is the woman does some math homework on the paper, and then she rips it up, throws it in the toilet, and then she flushes it.
That was the reason? Oh my god.
That was such a random scene.
That was such a random thing. What were those numbers?
Oh yeah, she's like this subtracting like 40,000 from 700. I'm like, it's 37,000, like 39,300. Use your brain.
Oh my god.
But she had to write it down.
I think like her budget, right? She was just spending money like that. Yeah. Wow.
And then she rips it up, you know, like at least eat it. Do something with it. But don't throw it in the toilet like that.
Yeah. Best scene. It's kind of like best scene ever. That was so good. Yeah, that was kind of random, so that makes sense. That makes sense. I was like, why? Why would you throw it there? Like garbage can.
I know.
Yeah.
Just shred it a bit more and throw it in the garbage can, or put it in your bag. Like the money is in your bag.
Yeah.
Keep that paper next time you want to multiply. You know, it's like so much of the paper is empty, and you know she's gonna like buy a chocolate bar in a minute. So okay, 37,900.
50 cents.
50. Yeah. So keep that paper. But we get it. Now there's a toilet flush. The story is so complex.
Yeah.
There's a. Should we tell the story? I feel like.
I mean, it's been 1960. From then.
It's been 80 years. What are you doing? Maybe. Yeah, 80 years.
Yeah, we spoiled the literal, like.
I don't know how to count. Yeah. This one section that I want to spoil right now. The woman goes to a hotel, and the hotel is empty. There's 12 cabins. Nobody's in any cabin. And the owner of the hotel is this young, cute guy, you know, 20s probably, and very thin, like he forgot to eat ever in his life. And then we find out this guy has a mother, and the mother is just like so racist, sexist, homophobic in the house, never comes out, you know, just walks by the window and watches everyone.
Very strict.
Super strict, super manipulative, rude. And so then he keeps talking to the mom, you know, so he goes to the house, they talk, we hear it, And it's the mom who's like, you boy, you'll never get anywhere in life. I hate that I raised you. And the boy's like, oh, I'm sorry, mother. You know, these kind of things.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where boy has finally had it. So he grabs the mom and says, Mom, I'm putting you somewhere else. You can't stop. You can't keep acting like this. Or even something like, he says, Mom, they're coming. The police is coming. So I'm going to put you somewhere else. So he hugs the mom and the mom's like, no, let me go. You know, these kind of things.
Yeah.
And mom is put away. So he tricks you like this that you don't see it coming, that the mom is simply a skeleton of the woman that he killed. He killed his mother. He had his mother's skeleton in the room and he was talking to the skeleton and voicing it. And so in that scene, he's hugging the skeleton, right? And the skeleton, as you move it, the legs kick because it's just a skeleton. And he talks in her voice, says, put me down, while he takes her down. These kind of things, like, how did he even think of that? That's such a great twist. And it makes perfect sense, too, for his character.
So that's one thing that happens there. Another thing was the voice. Okay, I even suspected, as I said, that he was the mom. But then the voice was so woman-like. Like, there's no way a guy can sound like that. I can't imagine that. Like, you can tell the difference between that, even if they're really good at imitating.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Did Alfred use a woman
to
throw us off?
I'm sure.
This really pays off at the end scene where we don't see Anthony's face, right? But we hear a woman say, come in. And then when we cut in, it's Anthony sitting there. And that's so creepy. You know, just imagine if this guy was sitting there and his voice was this lady's voice who just killed 3 people.
Wow.
That would be horrifying.
That's such a good scene. That's such an amazing scene. And not only that, it's a new way of telling stories as well. So another kind of spoiler, and for people that watched it at the time as well, is that this famous actress that everybody was on the posters, everybody thought that she's gonna be in the movie the whole time, the main character, she dies really, really early. When I saw that, I was like, how is this story is gonna even work? How is this movie is gonna work at all? Like, this character that we've been rooting for, that we know everybody's after and we've been like engaged with, this character died. Nothing, no resolution, nothing to this character. She didn't even repent. Nothing happened. And the fact that this guy, this psycho, killed her in a way, or like kind of like disguised every evidence in a way that you knew nobody could find it. Like, we were like, oh my God, how could anybody crack this mystery at all? And so that throws you off. That's like a bumper. That's like a brake. You're going really fast and then suddenly, you get to a wall.
That's so unique. Even today, most movies don't use anything like that. And that was, I'm sure, was one of the first times ever that the main character even died. The main character isn't supposed to die. That's why they're the main character.
Right. But it's kind of like it wasn't even that person's story at all. You were just like tricked.
Yeah, you know what? This main character keeps switching. So it starts with this woman and we learn everything about her. We start with her in a bed, making out with someone. And then find out about the romance, her work, her job, her desires, her running away, everything. But then when we meet the guy at the motel, suddenly, they get the same amount of screen time. They're getting the same kind of conversations and we're learning about him. And then suddenly she goes to change in her room and we're focusing on him. Okay, what he's watching her. And very subtly, the main characters switch to him then. It's so well done.
Oh my God, now I realize, yes, how subtle they work to switch the point of view. And that's not an easy thing. Like, an amateur director would have probably just focused on the woman, not even shown the guy, like, looking at her through that crack or like something. Wouldn't even know at what point to switch to this guy. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's something you don't even notice, you know, you just are hit with such a brick, like Anna says. The main character's dead. Life will never be the same. How is this second half of the movie gonna go now that this woman is dead?
Exactly. And the worst part is that the evidence part. Like, this guy is such a master. Like, I assume he has lots of experience and he killed a lot of people. So he knows how to hide the evidence so well.
Yeah, what's up with this? He cleans up. You know, they maybe put 10 minutes to just him getting this body out. And the detail they show us, I think, shouldn't even be allowed. Like, now I know how to dispose of a body. You know, put it on this plastic bag, cover it up, mop the tub, wipe all the handles, take it outside, put it in the trunk, go into these kind of areas where the water swamp, drop your car in, you know, take the newspapers. It just teaches you everything, and you're watching so engaged. It's like they almost play it like it's his daily tasks, right? They don't make a big deal out of it at all.
Right.
It's just like, okay, now I'll clean this and that. But we are so conflicted because he's disposing of the woman we love.
Yeah.
The main character. That's such a unique way of going about it. It reminds me of this this trick that I've learned. If you're a filmmaker, do this trick, which is in films you find gold and then you throw it away. If you want audiences to like that. So the gold here is this guy is disposing the body of the main character. That's gold. Like, you gotta show, the main character's eyes are bleeding. Like, his face is so scary, and like hands are breaking. Like, that would be the gold, like showing the main character. But instead, throwing away is he's just doing his daily tasks of clearing the area, taking it to the car.
They don't even show the woman at all.
They don't show the woman. Yeah, it's like just so she's a piece of garbage. Like, why would we show her?
Exactly.
It's so strong.
Like, yes, that's gold. You gotta show, like, how helpless she is, how she died, how she's like, look at her eyes. They do show the eyes, but that's it.
Just one time.
One time you show that, and that was actually so brilliant too. We thought it was a picture, he pulls away, and then you realize, oh my god, it's like tears or like water. Holy probably.
Shit. Yeah, how did they even hold that shot that long? It doesn't make sense. It starts exactly like a photo, and you're like, okay, good trick. Like, they didn't want her eyes to move, so they just put a photo. But then it starts turning back, coming out, and clearly it's the woman laying there.
I think it's the actors. The actress is so brilliant and amazing. It's actually not the cinematographer.
It's not, that's just a trick they did. But the fact that the actor is able to lay like that for 2 minutes.
And eyes that shift so easily. Wow, look at that. Like, we could find the smallest little things, like the most delicate details about the movie and talk about it for hours about it. Just like the eyes, that little shot.
It's insane. Okay, you watch it, you're gonna laugh. There's a scene, of course, the woman gets murdered, and the things that you see is like cut from here to there, and it's like knife in the air, and it just cuts to, and the knife just doesn't even hit the body. Like, the knife just goes around it. And I don't know. This was your first time watching that. How did it make you feel?
Oh, okay. I'll tell you. When I first watched it, I was like, she did not get killed. Oh my god, she's really good at it. And this old woman,
every single
one. Exactly. I did think that exactly. Like, she could not hit it. They didn't show it convincingly. Yeah, they didn't do that. I don't know. That's like the only scene that
what the hell were they thinking? Like, they should have at least cut those shots out, because they had so many good ones of the other side of the knife coming down, but then they would just cut to this, like the knife clearly just goes to the other direction. At least, like, show this part of the body that shakes when the knife goes in, not the knife itself. Do something so we know. Like a blood trickling. Nothing.
I guess, as they say, like, at the time, they were really, conservative about this part specifically, like, showing violence that much. So he did a good job at, like, disguising it, but not convincing the audience. No.
And there isn't even enough blood, you know? Imagine she got knifed, like, 30 times.
Yeah, and they were just, like
a light flow.
Exactly, right? Like, we are women, we know how it kind of goes. Like, that's
put more blood there.
That's like a literally light day. That's like a good day.
That's like the middle of the month. It's not even the period. It's just like random. just a regular Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that? It was like the more intensity. Like, put more chocolate at least, so it's darker, that amount.
I know.
And speaking of scenes that don't belong there, there's a scene near the end that doesn't belong in the film whatsoever.
You guys.
It is a scene after the film has resolved in the most dramatic way. We find out the twist that the man is his mother at the same time. It cuts to this room where all the characters are sitting. It's like those post-show and Q&As. You know, everyone's sitting, smiling, and then one guy walks in. Okay, so did you guys realize that the guy was the mother? And by the way he did that was he put the mother in the house. Isn't that crazy? He just comes in and like explains everything, like from beginning to end. You know, if we said those lines right now, you wouldn't even know, because it would just sound like we're discussing the movie.
Exactly. So disrespectful. It's like, oh, let me teach you what it's all about. You couldn't figure it out all by yourself. Yeah, let me spoon feed you like that.
And if it was a second, you know, if it was 10 seconds or something short, okay, it clears it up. But the fact that it's like 5 minutes, it goes on, and it's like, okay, is it done? By the way, you know those owls that were cut and they were like stuffed? Those were the job of Anthony. He did that.
He might as well said like, oh, you know those statues there? They're the symbol of this. And that doll there, that was symbol of that. Oh yeah, Alfred Hitchcock, he put it there because of this.
The shower scene, it took 2 days for us to shoot. You know, I just start talking about everything. That was not good, but it's okay. We forgive it, because it wasn't Alfred Hitchcock himself who wanted this at all. It was these executives who were paying for the movie. They're like, okay, you have to have something explaining it, or else we're not going to fund the movie.
Wow.
So he had to, begrudgingly, he set up this scene. He has his actors come in, and he hires this one guy. He's like, okay, come give this monologue. This is your moment, you know. The guy comes in and he delivers this first take, right? He delivers everything, no cuts. And when it's done, Alfred Hitchcock comes up, shakes his hand, and says, "Thank you so much. You saved my movie." That's it. One take. They didn't even shoot it again. Alfred is like, just podcast format. Like, come say it and get the fuck out of here.
Wow. One take, and that was a long monologue, like a long scene. And this guy's really good, by the way. Like, it's not the actor's fault. It's just like too much on the nose. Like, why would you do this? Why would you say it? I would really appreciate if probably somebody has already done it, but would edit the movie and like cut that part out, you know? Just like, that's such a bummer. You go in, that last act, that last scene is so dramatic, and then cut to this, it kills everything. It kills the mood.
Disgusting, horrible. But yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't release it again like this later.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, directors get the chance to re-release.
Right.
Don't know. Alfred, he got so busy with his next projects, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
But, okay, I remember some new thing that I would love to share with you. So, you know the corpse, the woman's corpse?
Yeah.
Is kind of scary. But Alfred wasn't sure if it's scary enough, so he wanted to test it out. But the way he tested it out was he hid it inside of Janet Leigh's closet, the main actress, like the office closet that she gets to sleep in.
Yeah.
And she opens the closet and sees and screams so loud that the ambulance comes. You know, they're so...
Why her? Oh my God.
Why in this illegal way of going into her closet, putting that there, letting her have a heart attack? Like, just ask her, do you think this is scary?
And with like the whole outfit on the skeleton and everything.
Yeah, right? Like the skeleton is hidden behind your closet. Imagine you open it
suddenly.
Oh
my God. Oh my God. Oh wow. This girl should have definitely sued him.
Yes, yeah. Actually, they said that they never want to work with each other again after this movie.
Are you kidding? Really?
Yeah, I gotta find out what the reason is, but apparently that's it for them.
Well, I mean, like, look at that. She's such a gorgeous actress, and like she probably could have had so many beautiful roles after that. She's like this sexy lady and everything ahead of her in terms of career. And then she goes into this horror movie. Her image is totally shattered. Yeah. Like, she becomes just like...
They see her as this cheater woman who steals. Like, people at that time especially were really connecting the character to the actor. So now she is this like adulteress kind of woman who's what's the word even?
Mistress?
Huh? Yeah, kind of like in the streets. Like she's in the streets. Her legs are wide open. Anyway, but they show her as this, and then they show her as like a horror icon, basically. Like now every role that's offered to her, she's another damsel in distress, and she's getting killed. And it's like, what? Yeah. What about those family dramas that I was waiting for? I want to show my range. It didn't come. Same thing happened with Anthony Perkins, the psycho. Yeah. After this, all the roles that are coming his way is these psycho characters. No. And you know, it makes sense. Like, he did such a good job that everyone wants him to play this again. But his career plummets. Like, he's so talented. He could have done everything, every kind of role, romantic, drama, fantasy.
Yeah, he does look like it. You know, he has that like light kind of funny, actually comedic. thing that he could have like pursued maybe.
Yeah, that's so sad, right? Because he played the again this Anthony Perkins in like Psycho 2, 3, 4, whatever. That Hitchcock didn't direct it. It's like somebody else did. And so more and more he's getting shackled in this idea of the psycho character. And life just doesn't go as well for him. But it's okay because now he's in one of the best movies ever. And he even said like I wouldn't change it for anything if I could go back.
You know, and also we know that it has a lot of effect on them. So having to play it over and over again, it's going to tax him, of course. Wow.
Well, that's on him, though. He should have just refused the over and over part.
Yeah, exactly. Psycho 2 and stuff like that? Wow. Is it related to the first or? No?
Probably not, right? Like, they just want to milk money at that point. Like, okay, exactly. Anthony's back. Like, this guy, Psycho. Norman.
But there's also another Psycho movie, which I love. It's so much better than this one. You should.
Oh,
yeah. That's my favorite.
That's the rom-com Psycho we're talking about.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
They made another Psycho movie in the year 2005, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And it's shot by shot copy of the first. No creative ideas around, exact copy, except that the actors are now, these like
modern,
these random looking people who don't match the story
at all. They don't even have any chemistry, nothing.
Yeah. What the hell? And then it's just in color. So if you really hate black and white, I mean, like you can give it a try, but avoid that one if you can. So this movie had such an effect on the audience that watched it that people stopped showering after watching this movie. Literally stopped showering.
They just had started showering after all those smelly years, that nobody could walk outside.
Yeah.
And now suddenly, wow.
Imagine they were so afraid of being behind that curtain that they were physically allowing themselves to smell bad than to go take a shower.
Okay, I get it though. Yesterday, when I took a shower, I was totally imagining something like that happening every second.
Really?
Yeah.
So that happened.
Horrid.
Even, you know what happened? Somebody wrote to Hitchcock. They were like, my daughter is refusing to take a shower because of your film. What are you doing? I hate you and what you stand for. Mails it in. Hitchcock replies, thank you for your response. Send your daughter to the dry cleaners instead. Send that one over there.
That's so good. That's so how people commented back then.
Yeah.
That's amazing. At least you put an effort, right? You would go and write it out and then or
pay for a stamp.
Yeah, pay for that and then fold it, send it in the post.
Put warm regards at the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. Man. And then this happens. But I love his response. Love it. So good.
Yeah, he's so nonchalant. Just go. If you can't do wet cleaning, then do dry.
Or car wash, whatever.
I think that works. And this movie, again, like kind of broke down. People were loving it or they were hating it because the time that it came out, the 60s at that time, people were not so open to the slasher genre and women who are promiscuous and these kind of things.
Yeah.
And so one person who hated it famously is Walt Disney. Mr. Walt Disney was so against this movie that in a few years, Hitchcock wanted to film a scene inside of Disneyland.
Yeah.
And Walt Disney was like, no, permit denied. You made that disgusting movie Psycho. You're not getting anywhere near my building.
Wow. Oh my God. He made an enemy. Wow. Why is this guy like that?
Hitchcock?
Disney.
Oh, I know. Disney's so dramatic. It's a movie. What are you saying? And Disney himself was so racist.
Yeah.
And sexist and all that.
I know. What? This guy is so problematic. But at the same time, I get it. He's delicate. His soul is so sensitive, He could go just as far as Mikey Mouse and stuff like that. Yeah. Nothing like that.
Fine. Talking about the cinematography of the film, there are some shots that are incredible. So,
but some that are so questionable. I'm like, I could have done a better job.
Which one?
The first one. It's so horrible when they have a shot of the window. Why would you have two shots of it and cut so roughly? Just one from above, one done.
Yes. In their defense, I would say The first shot is a camera kind of flies over the city and comes to the building.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they
The
just didn't push that. Yeah. Like keep holding on that one. They just cut to a little bit over here, a different angle. These kind of things don't make sense, and they should have been cut. They should have been talked through.
So many editing mistakes as well, or maybe it's just like in their storyboard they had a problem, because some cuts are just not making sense. I don't know. There's so many like overlays when they want to like go from one scene to another, or like one shot to another. Okay, I think that's the editing. That's the editing part. It just kind of disappears, and then.
But I think that's a creative choice, though. The disappearing.
Yeah.
There's famously one where the woman's face gets more and more mysterious, and you start to not even recognize her. She was innocent, and then suddenly she turns into this new emotion.
Oh, no, not that one. That was good.
Yeah. And you know, in that one, for example, they had put a skeleton under her face.
What?
Like opacity low, so that her face starts to change a little bit. And you don't know what is changing, but she just looks different suddenly.
That scene that she's in the car? Oh my God.
There's some shots that I've never seen before. So there's a shot, for example, of looking under, where you just see the jaw of the guy, right?
Yeah.
And he comes in like a bird. Like he just comes in like...
Oh, yeah. In an angle, too.
It's just so great to show what a creepy guy he is, right? You could shoot that from anywhere.
Yeah.
But they choose to do from underneath, where he looms over like a predator animal. Yeah. And then he comes back out. So unique, you know, that you want to see new creative things in film. Exactly. And that is one. And there's another one you mentioned.
Yeah, there's this one as well that so basically there's nothing that is happening in terms of cinematography. It's just the actor doing this thing, but of course the director gives the cue of what's gonna happen. So there's this scene where he's sitting laid back like that, you know, the camera is on him still, and then all he does is comes forward a little bit, and that's the only reason it gets so creepy, just by him coming forward. How did they do something like that? How did they make us get scared of just like this movement, this simple movement?
That's so beautiful. It's because the camera doesn't move.
Yeah.
Usually, if any character moves, the camera adjusts to create a new frame for its balance. The character is exactly on those frame lines or in the middle. These kind of things. But in this case, instead of them pulling back to adjust, fit him in, they just keep it there. So now he's unbalanced. He's like, that frame doesn't even look good. You know, he's in front. That's not where he's supposed to be. Yeah. So it's like he's intruding onto the space.
Yeah, it's like he's intruding the audience, right? So he's coming into our space, he's invading us, and he's also threatened. We know this woman said something that this guy's not happy about, and he's offended. So you get scared as well, and you see the woman get scared too. But then when he pulls back, again, you're relaxed. Oh, well, that's such a simple movement. You shouldn't be scared if I do this. Yeah. You should not.
Are you? Tell us.
Are you? Yeah.
So cool. So again, it's like blocking and cinematography coming together, and the acting, of course. There's another shot where we don't know Norman is a killer. You might have some instincts, but this is the first time there's a hint, even though the things he's saying doesn't show it. So he's just sitting there. He's offered this girl milk and a sandwich, you know, like
it happens every day.
Yeah. Breakfast. And he's sitting there watching her eat, and they're talking, and he's in the corner of the frame, and on top of him is this giant like owl, eagle, whatever it is, kind of like this, looking down at the scene. And it's like it's like that owl is his internal like animal that's coming out to hunt this girl or something.
Yeah.
And they don't mention it, they don't talk about it. It's all visual. It's like that is a sign of something to come.
Man, I didn't catch that. I wish the guy had said it at the end of the movie. Yeah. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, those symbols, so beautiful. And the fact that he says, oh, you look like a bird, you're like a bird. He says something like that too.
You eat like a bird.
You eat like a bird. So it's kind of like he's the one that stuffs animals, right? Taxidermy. He does that. When he says that, oh, you gotta catch that he is the killer.
Exactly. Yeah. He's thinking of her as another thing to kill and taxidermy. And you know what? He actually eats so much more like a bird. Have you noticed? He's constantly like, just kind of like eating, like, you know those birds that eat so quickly? The whole time he's chewing some things. I guess he's chewing candy corn. I don't know what that means. But he's constantly, like, just like a bird, chewing, and that becomes a plot point too, because when he's stressed, he starts chewing heavier.
Yes.
And then you start to see the bones of his face shifting, and you can see his internal
his jaw
feelings.
changing and shifting. Yes, exactly. His hands moving so nervously. Yeah, he's not really good at disguising it. But there's this thing. Humans really, no matter how good of a liar they are, there are physical cues that will give them in. You know, people will find out that you're lying based on those. If you know body language, people give them away like all the time. It's just unconscious. Yeah.
Do you know some? Like, I know if somebody touches their neck while they're talking, it means that they're uncomfortable. They're lying about something, and they want to get away from the situation.
Time. You know, you do that because you want to buy some time, think, or something like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, sometimes I do it, but it's just like innocent reasons. I'm just scratching.
Yeah, well, on the inside, you feel some kind of like insecurity about something.
Maybe, yeah.
And so you just kind of like, you
true.
start touching that. Another big one is they say the direction that your foot points.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever it is, that's where you want to be, probably. It's pointing like, okay, that's pointing at the coffee shop.
I gotta go.
Yeah, start walking. You know, different things. So body language really gives away everyone in this film as well. Even the killer, who's so good at hiding his emotions.
Yes, his hands, obviously we saw that, and also his face a lot. Blinking also gives it away.
He's stuttering too.
Stuttering,
so cool.
Getting defensive. Also, you know, when he's getting questioned a lot by that man, he feels uncomfortable at one point, and he's like, why are you asking these questions? Why are you like interrogating me like right now? And then he claps back like, where's that woman that you came with? And things like this. So yeah, this is the cues. And also, if we want to talk about the psychological aspect of this whole thing, you know, we've been through it. We've talked about it a lot. Mommy issues, they're the source, the reason of all these problems. You know, moms have to be really careful with their sons, I feel like. And also fathers with their daughters. I don't know what is this whole thing. Why is it this way? But any psycho character, they have this mom that neglected them. Not even like psycho movies or like psycho stories.
In life.
In life in general. Napoleon.
Yeah.
Like literally, we know that guy, right? He had such a strict mom. He had all these problems with her. And so yeah, moms that are like so overly controlling. Moms that maybe neglected their sons in favor of another man, even if it is the father. So yeah, how do women should keep that balance of giving affection to their lover, the father of the child, and also the son in a way that is healthy? You know, you don't want to be overly like sentimental, and you don't want to be like neglecting the child as well. And also for fathers as well, like how do you balance that? How should we go about it? Because it's just such a fine line.
And you can be the next mother of a murderer.
Exactly.
With your issues that you bring up, you know?
Absolutely.
So that's why not everyone should have kids. Probably us included.
I mean, I guess that's just humanity in general. Everybody will go through that. Everybody will be either neglected or like overly like loved. Maybe not overly loved, but like overly spoiled, maybe something like that, by their parents. And everybody is traumatized to a degree, and that's just human nature. And we have to just get over that. We have to realize that we are not that human body and everything. And yeah, so these things, everybody has to go through it. But some people get lost into everyday life so much that they lose track of it. They lose themselves, and it's so much harder for them to get back. Yeah.
And also, how cool that they talked about multiple personality disorder in this movie. I feel like I haven't seen any older movies that are tackling like new psychological ideas.
At least they wouldn't say it like this, for sure. And I love this last scene actually for this reason. The guy is like so dramatic, right? He's like, the woman, the sister, is asking, did he actually kill my sister? And he's like, not exactly. You see, this man is the mother and also himself. Like the part of him that killed the mother was not actually him. it was the mother that was overly jealous. You see, when he came and saw the woman, he was aroused by her. And so he created this illusion of the mom that gets jealous of him being aroused by that. And so the mom is jealous and comes, and he wants to see that. He wanted to see, this is me talking now. He wanted to see this man, Psycho. He wanted to see his mom getting jealous if he was interested in somebody else, because the mom neglected him when he was a child and went for the lover.
You know, that last scene really podcast proofs this film, because it's not like we can now interpret something different. Like, it's there, you know, sources cited and everything. Just copy that and say exactly what the message was.
Exactly. That's why we kind of did the psychological part at the end. Actually, it came naturally, but that's probably the reason why it's so there that we don't even need to do anything. No analysis, nothing like that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's a movie to enjoy and learn from. After this, Anna and I decided we're going to take self-defense classes, and we're going to carry pepper spray wherever we go. Because you got to stay safe out there, folks.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Don't get stuck in Norman Bates's motel.
Oh, yeah.
And we hope you really enjoy this Halloween. Do we have plans for Halloween? This is the plan.
I know. Dressing up as Psycho?
Yeah, Norman Bates, absolutely.
Exactly. Or the woman, I don't know.
Marion Crane.
Oh, that's actually a good costume for couples.
Oh,
try that.
Oh, very toxic. Yeah, try it, definitely. Thank you. Enjoy Halloween. Get out into the streets. Stay safe. You know, take care of yourself. Wear warm clothes.
And take a shower with one eye open.